we have to know how you got started in this business.
Oh yeah, that's always a big question.
Yeah,
because
this is incredible, and you think, well, what did this start as, right?
Yeah, it's true. So it started. So I guess in the clothing, you could see that there's a movement, that it's comfortable. So I used to be a contemporary dancer. So it all started, doing costumes for dancers and for my troops, or I guess at that point you would call dance groups.
Yeah.
Because we didn't have a lot of money, so when we did our concert, we would do those. And of course, dancing, I created injuries, and I actually faced a pivot time, I guess I could say, in my life, where I had to make a decision if I want to continue dancing professionally or do something different. Because I knew around 25 or 6, I might have to change career or change, think of something else. So that's where I decided to go to human ecology to do my first course in textiles. And then I wanted to know how the garment was made. But, when I look back, it's really interesting because doing that course at the U of M in human ecology, it's where I really understood the behind the scene of the fashion industry, because we would do cases of child labor, of sweatshops, and I had no idea what that was.
That's where all of our clothes come from.
Exactly.
Right.
So then getting that information or that education, and then deciding, no, I want to know how to make the garment. Then I moved to Montreal to do my full design university degree, and just those two together, I was able to start thinking about, well, if I'm going to be a designer, what kind of designer I want to be, and what kind of clothes I want to bring for my customers. So all this to say, from dance to one course at U of M, all the way to Montreal, and then I started to come back to Winnipeg, where I'm from, to launch this.
You're, of course, Métis. What community are you guys from?
Red River. Yeah,
nice. Like St. Boniface.
St. Boniface, yeah, and then from Ile de la Crosse.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't think that people think of clothing being made here. Like, not only is it designed here, but it's made right here too. Why was that important to you?
Yeah, these are like big questions that I started with when I started my company, but I keep on reflecting on it. And when I started my company, of course, I was a little artisan, a little designer. I wanted to create something good. My mom always, at the beginning, when I started my little company called MJ for my twin sister, and then Anne for me, she did say, if you're going to create something or build a business, we're here to help. So how would you help your community? How would you help the people? So, it was a big question, but for me, it really made me ponder, and that's where I looked at my heritage too, because she said it has to come from you, and you can't just make things or make professional clothing. It has to have a story. And so I was taught from the get-go, you have to tell a story, you have to tell your story. And it has been super hard, especially as an artist, but it kind of opened some creative aspect or creative bulbs in me, knowing that I really want to honor my ancestor, my Métis ancestors, throughout my whole collections, throughout even the growth of the company. I kind of, it's so interesting to start wanting to keep my production in Canada. For me, it was so important to just keep it in Winnipeg even. I wanted to buy natural fibers. That was just ready. And maybe it's because that's how I was brought up. I was brought up to not consume a lot, to always wear natural, to always use what we only needed.
What advice do you have for people who, like Indigenous people who'd be watching this saying, I have an idea, I just don't know how to make it happen or to take the plunge? Like, what advice do you give to people who say, how do you do this?
I would say, okay, so it's always hard to start, and it's always hard to actually build that confidence. So for me, I had a hard time selling at the beginning because you know, people did not know who the Indigenous people were of Canada, and they did not know the story, so some had different perspective and stuff like that. And it's really just the past 5 years when we start talking about reconciliation that people start opening their minds to us and to appreciate us and to appreciate our art. But, you know, I would definitely say for the youth, there is help out there, and you know, I would say come and talk to me, but believe in your art. I've had a couple artisans just selling their earrings, and at first they didn't know if they could actually sell it. And after, you know, seeing someone like me or we bring into the boutique and they get that positive feedback, it's like, just believe in yourself and keep pushing, because if you have a story, and I know everybody has one.
And do you find like your clientele, is it more, you know, non-Indigenous people than Indigenous people?
Yeah, and I think it's because now they feel like they can support. You know, maybe before I was kind of like, can I wear this? Can I not? So that was a question. Right. But now I find they want to support, and they want to support locally, and they want to support minority companies, and the ones that don't have flashy, you know, big promotion or that we can't get into the mainstream because we're so small or we're so different. Or so I find, more and more we get so many different. Customers from across the world that just seek us out, and then, which is awesome, because I think that's what we need. We need more people to look at the smaller companies and to support the minorities, because that's how we're going to swipe that fast fashion out and bring back manufacturing in Canada or in Winnipeg. Like, we were the hub of manufacturing, and bring back that little customized tailoring, because it all comes back to like slow fashion. You get something made for yourself that, you know, fits perfectly. Why would you go and buy 20 more?
Right.
You wear it, and then, okay, another style for a few years.